Good afternoon, America. I'd like to talk to you about something that everybody's talking about, and that is the election for 2012. Now, basically, the mainstream media has told you that you have two choices, left horse and right horse. And one of these two people are going to be the next president of the United States because that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it's always going to be. Um, I disagree, and I think that either one of these candidates is not going to make a bit of difference. Neither one of them are going to end war. Neither one of them are going to change financial policy in regard to banker bailouts that's destroying the dollar and enslaving children for the future. Neither one of them are really any different on abortion, regardless of what you personally feel about that. You should at least be concerned that, that, like for instance, Mitt Romney he was pro-choice when he was governor of Massachusetts, but he's pro-life now for political expediency, because that's what a Republican nominee needs to be. Neither one of them are any different on your freedoms in regards to the Constitution and the National Defense Authorization Act, the Patriot Act, and legislation such as that has taken away your rights. So my question to you is, if they're so similar on the real issues in this country, then why vote for either one of them? Why do we keep doing the same thing of picking the lesser of two evils and expecting a different outcome? You're not going to get it. And really, this probably is the most critical election in history because with Obama or Mitt Romney, they're just going to take us down the path to more war. They're going to take us down the path to more financial instability, and you're going to suffer for it, and your family and your friends are all going to suffer for it if we cannot collectively as an American people figure out a way to do something different. It's happened throughout history. There have been other political parties in history, and if you look at the Declaration of Independence, it says after a long train of abuses, it is your right, it is your duty to provide new security for yourself. Do you feel secure with Barack Obama as president, waging war around the world, creating more enemies, murdering women in Afghanistan through NATO airstrikes? Do you feel secure at the prospect of having Mitt Romney as your president, where he says 47% of the American people, he's just never going to convince them that they're entitled? I'll tell you what, I'm 36 years old. I'm a 15-year commercial drywall estimator. I am not working right now, and it's not because I don't want to work or because I want anything from the government. Believe me, the last thing I want is the government to have anything to do with my family. Um, Man, you just don't get it. You're the type of guy that sits on the side of a tarmac outside of a corporate jet and lets some other man shine your shoes. That's your idea of creating jobs. And Obama, you don't get it. The American people, they there is value in creating something for yourself. There is value in being able to go to work and earn a paycheck, or have your own company or anything like that. We get a sense of value and a sense of self-worth, being able to provide for our families. And we're not able to do that under you. You are a failed president. So, really, either one of these guys, they're no good for the American people. What do you do? Well, if you go ahead and do a search online, you'll see that there are several people running for president. Now, obviously, if we all scatter to the wind and we vote for, a few of us go over here, some of us go to the Green Party, some of us go to the Libertarian Party, then we're not going to have a united front. We're not going to be able to affect any real change in government, and we will continue to get the left-right false paradigm that is running this country into the ground. Um, I don't know yet who I'm going to vote for. But the real question I have is, if they can fix the elections like they have been doing, okay, We saw it happen with George Bush and Al Gore. We saw the stacked deck of George Bush versus John Kerry, which wasn't Democrat versus Republican. It was skull and bones versus skull and bones, cousin versus cousin. These guys are actually blood relatives. And now we see two Council on Foreign Relations, yeah, Council on Foreign Relations members slash Bilderberg Group picks running against each other. See, it doesn't really matter if Obama or Romney become president, because both of them have been endorsed by the Bilderberg Group. Obama last time around and Romney this time around. Both of them have been endorsed uh, by George Soros, that guy who melts entire countries and stuff like that. Both of them have been heavily financed by Goldman Sachs. That company that got the big banker bailout. Um, it, I think it's a Roman principle to actually follow the money. You know, Before you vote, you should look at where these guys get their money from. Not just from the donors like you and I or whatever, but where do they get their money from in the super PACs? Because those are the people that they are going to be representing their interests, not you and me. You know, it Congress in Congress in Washington D.C. lobbyists invest about $6 billion per congressman. So it's pretty easy for them to be able to buy. I can't afford a congressman, and you can't afford a congressman. I can't afford to buy a president. But you know what? We shouldn't have to. We should have people that genuinely have the interests of the American people in mind. The whole political process is bought. You know, with this amount of money that goes into how could you ever expect to have any type of representation in your government? Um, we need to do something different. Now, either the American people can collectively get behind someone like possibly Gary Johnson. I really can't think of anybody else that I would vote for. I'm a Ron Paul supporter, and I'm coming to terms with the fact that, I could write Ron Paul in and feel that I voted my conscience. And I'd be okay with that, except for the fact that um, not all states accept write-ins. Some states have sore loser laws. 8 states do not accept write-ins at all. 8 more states say that the candidate's name needs to be on the ballot, and I think another 4 states after that have sore loser laws. So if you deduct that 20, that means only 30 states actually accept a write-in candidate. So there's no way that we are going to be able to write Ron Paul in as a presidential candidate. So either we find another candidate to get behind, or we just make the election irrelevant altogether. I don't know how you do that. I mean, taken to the streets in massive protest, yeah, that's good, but it's not gonna. The media is not gonna take note of it. But the media doesn't really. We don't need the media, okay? Fox News at its peak, they have maybe 3 million viewers. MSNBC and CNN, they have maybe 2 million viewers. People don't get their news from the media. They get it from right here online. They get it from the Drudge Report, or they get it from coasttocoast.com or Infowars, PrisonPlanet.com. There are all sorts of people that are throwing on YouTube and sharing information one to another. So really, we are unified. We just don't know it yet. The majority of the American people do not support Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. That is a fact. Um, we just need to find a way to get all those people on the same page. It's either going to be behind a candidate like Gary Johnson, or we need to obey the Declaration of Independence and remove these people from office. There are members in the military that supported Ron Paul that take their oath to the Constitution very seriously. Um, we basically, I'm just looking to start a dialogue of ideas. I don't have the answers, but we need to start talking to one another and find out what we have in common rather than what divides us. Okay, the social issues that are put forth by the Democratic and Republican Party are being used to divide you, and you know they're attacking your identity to get you to retreat and circle the wagons around that political party that owns you. You know, you bought the Obama T-shirt or the Mitt Romney T-shirt or the Tea Party T-shirt or the Occupy T-shirt, and you're in this identity that really, when it comes down to it, they don't have your best interest in mind. Okay, the Tea Party, when it started, it was a really noble gesture at snubbing our nose at the establishment, and it was, you know, the Republicans, they so quickly found their way to co-opt it. Excuse me. Um, and the Democrats tried to do the same thing with the Occupy movement.